Hey, just to let you guys know before this video starts, I am starting a new channel for tech reviews. It's going to be called Apple Orchard. There's going to be a link to it in the description. So if you guys want to see my tech reviews and things like that, which is actually what I originally started my YouTube channel for, and I stumbled into the anime reactions by accident, and that's what kind of has gotten me where I am. So thank you guys for that. But I want to get back to what I had originally started my YouTube channel for, which was to make tech reviews. So if you guys want to support me on that, head on over, subscribe to Apple Orchard. This review is going to be posted here on my Garrett Crespo channel with this opening button, but it's also going to be posted over there on the Apple Orchard channel with no opening button, because that's going to be where eventually all of my tech reviews are going to be posted. So head on over there and subscribe if you guys want to watch some tech reviews. There's going to be a few more of these coming out within the next few weeks, so keep an eye out. And yeah, let's get into the review. So back in 2016, I made a video called My Thoughts on the 2015 versus Rumored 2016 Retina MacBook Pro. And in that video, I clearly stated that I felt like Apple was limiting functionality by removing all the ports on the Retina MacBook Pro and replacing them with 4 Thunderbolt ports. Now, this was all based on rumors, and the MacBook was not even finalized at that point. We didn't know what it was going to look like. All we were basing this on was from some leaked production images. But over a year has passed since then. I still have the Retina MacBook Pro that I based that whole argument off of. I loved the ports on that thing when I made that video, but like I said, it's been over a year, so I figured I'd go back and talk about using this 2015 Retina MacBook Pro in 2018. Now keep in mind, this is nearly a 3-year-old laptop, but does it really feel like a 3-year-old laptop? By the standards used to judge most laptops today, i.e. Windows machines, no. Actually, it feels like it literally rolled off the assembly line yesterday. And if you go to Apple's website, they actually are still rolling off the assembly line. Like, you can buy this thing brand new from Apple, minus the graphics card, and it's sold as a modern Mac. Now, when it comes to comparing this to a modern Mac, i.e. the Touch Bar Retina MacBook Pro, or any of the other laptops in that lineup, specifically the MacBook Pro, it does feel like it's actually aged a bit. But that's good, because that means technology is moving forward. And I also feel like it's because Apple tends to push performance and design a lot more, so you get this very quickly aging product that is still completely usable until you use what is designed to replace it. And this is going to become a theme later. And they really want to get things rolling with this new future port of Thunderbolt 3, hence the lack of any traditional port except for the headphone jack and of course the touch bar. But external changes aren't the only thing. Internal hardware has moved so far ahead in most cases as well. This laptop is still running on Intel's 4980HQ from the 4th generation of Intel chips. Most laptops, including the Retina MacBook Pro, are running on the 7th generation of Intel chips. Now, thanks to Apple's optimization, the 3-generation difference really doesn't feel as big as it should. In fact, I only really notice it when I'm editing 4K footage. Now, the new Retina MacBook Pro is fast, but mine is still totally usable. So what about the display? It's fine. In fact, it's still great. I know there are some Windows machines out there that have opted for 4K displays on laptops, but let's be real, laptop graphics cards are not up to that kind of task yet, and Intel's iGPUs are definitely not up to that kind of task yet. And most other Windows machines and other machines in general have opted for 1080p screens, even all the way on desktops. So, I mean, that's fine. It's a 16:9 aspect ratio, which for video editors and photo editors can be a bit limiting, but it's fine. This machine, however, goes for the Retina display standard, which is 2880 by 1800. The pixel density is nice and sharp. I mean, it's a Retina display, so it has to be a certain pixel density. And the text pops, but that's not really the reason why I like this screen. The reason I like this screen is because they opted for the taller 16:10 aspect ratio. So what this means is that content creators and general users alike are able to take advantage of a much taller display, so they can fit more from top to bottom. So yeah, this screen holds up fine in 2018. It's not the P3 color gamut standard, which is fine. It's a bit of a bummer for me as an editor, but most people won't even care. In fact, if you need to go and Google what P3 color gamut is, you probably won't even notice or care. So it's fine. Well, build quality. What about the build quality? I mean, it's a 3-year-old machine. How's the build quality? It's Apple. I mean, it's aluminum and glass. That much really hasn't changed. Now, I do wish that I had that sexy space gray color from the new MacBook Pro. but silver's okay, minus a few scratches. Also, this is something I need to bring up. I didn't think it would be that important, but it turns out it kind of was after I went back and forth between my MacBook and my iPad Pro. The keyboard's fine, but after having used my iPad Pro's keyboard that has that new butterfly switch mechanism, and after having used the new Retina MacBook Pro with that butterfly switch mechanism, I've become kind of used to that type of keyboard. So the chiclet style keyboard does feel a bit less premium than it did when it was new. So I think I could enjoy the butterfly keyboard a little bit more on the new MacBook Pro thanks to getting used to it on my iPad, but it's still fine. It just, something better's come out and it does feel better, but by doing that it makes the older one feel less premium. That's kind of what happens. And the trackpad's good. I've kind of been spoiled in this territory as well, just because I use a Magic Trackpad on my desktop, and my parents have a Magic Trackpad on their desktop, and the new Retina MacBook Pro has a significantly larger trackpad. So when I go back to the built-in one, it just looks and feels so tiny. And every time I use it for editing, I feel like I'm running out of space when I move around. Apart from that, it's still better than pretty much anything else out there. The Taptic engine to simulate a click, because the trackpad does not actually physically click. The fact that it's glass, surprise, surprise, and there's software that makes the most of that surface to give you gestures and scrolling and tap to click and 3D touch. All of that just kind of completes the experience of using it, whether it's a small trackpad or a large one. So the 2015 trackpad is still way better than anybody else out there. There's nothing even close in terms of competition, but it's still not as good as Apple's latest. I'm kind of starting to see a theme here. Okay, well then what about battery life? Again, it's fine. It's aged a bit, so I don't quite get what I did in 2015, but considering I got 7 hours of battery life in its prime, that means that nowadays I get about 5.5 to 6 hours. And I just chalk that up to the fact that batteries age. And I've used this laptop a ton over the past 3 years. Now, compared to the latest MacBook Pro's 10 hours, that is a huge difference. But technology gets better, and this is 3 years of tech advancement. So I'm fine with what it does considering its age and use history. And lastly, the ports. Now, I hated on the USB-C/Thunderbolt 3 port back when Apple first used them as the only port on the MacBook Pro. But over time, I did start to see the benefit of Thunderbolt 3. So while I originally bought my MacBook Pro to avoid Thunderbolt 3, I'm almost at the point where I wish I had waited. Honestly, I've made almost a 180-degree switch on how I felt about those ports. Don't get me wrong, features like MagSafe are nice, but I do also feel like they have more limits, like the fact that MagSafe comes off almost too easily, and it is only on one side. Thunderbolt can actually charge the MacBook Pro just fine from either side because it's got ports on both sides, which is pretty convenient, and I'm willing to trade off the magnetic pop-off for being able to put the port in a place where maybe it's less likely to be tripped on. And I like the idea of having USB-A at my disposal, but I can't remember the last time I've used it on this laptop. I airdrop pretty much everything to the laptop, or I pull it down from the cloud. So I'm at the point now where I could pretty much live without USB-A. Well, what about those Thunderbolt 2 ports? I like them, but they are kind of limited. In fact, I can only use data or video at one time. I can't do both at the same time. I have to use a video adapter, and then I have to plug my hub in, so I'm taking up both of those ports just to plug in a monitor, and then everything else. Thunderbolt 3 can do both of those at the same time. I mean, the technology's gotten better. So I have one port used for a hub with video, data, audio, and all of that, and then 3 available for anything else. So honestly, I welcome Thunderbolt 2's replacement. The SD card reader? This review and pretty much everything else that I'm going to start doing for these tech reviews has been filmed on either my iPhone or my iPad, so I just airdrop the footage over. No big deal. And HDMI? Thunderbolt 3. I mean, I already said with the Thunderbolt 2 replacement that I can get a hub that gives me everything I need if I need it, and a video port, so I don't need the HDMI cable anymore because everything will be on one hub in case I absolutely need it. So I think I finally get what Apple was going for. Thunderbolt 3 is the last port. It can do all the things I just listed, and it can do them all at the same time with one cable. Sure, you need an adapter at first, but as time passes, more companies will adopt this standard and it will be less necessary to adapt things to it. So I don't hate the ports on my MacBook Pro that I run now, the 2015, I just don't use them anymore. I've gotten to a point with my workflow where I can almost do anything I need wirelessly, and that kind of technology will only get better as time passes. So all in all, the 2015 Retina MacBook Pro is a totally usable high-end laptop for 2018. And I say high-end because there are mid-ranged and high-end competitors' laptops coming out today that are actually being outperformed or are on par with this MacBook here. And I feel like part of that is thanks to Apple's super crazy hardware to software optimization, but you can take that for what you will. Now, is this laptop the best of the best? No, and I wouldn't expect it to be. In fact, I'd be worried if it was, because that means the technology hasn't moved forward at all. But it's usable. It's capable of keeping up with most demands and even doing some heavy video editing and photo work, even if that is where it starts to show its limits. But if you're adopting the future, this is not the MacBook for you. The ports are nice if you need to hold on to traditional connections, but honestly, I've found them more and more unnecessary. I love my MacBook Pro. It's been an amazing machine for all the editing and work I've had to take on the go, but times move forward. Something new will always be just around the corner to take the spotlight away from what was once new. Opinions will change and people will move on to bigger and better things. And that's what's happened with this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review of the Retina MacBook Pro 2015 in 2018. If you guys want to see more reviews like this, I'm going to be posting a few of them throughout the next month or so. It's going to be a couple every week, I hope. And if you guys want to see these consistently, I'm actually going to start posting them on a new channel that I'll link in the description called Apple Orchard. It's going to be where I actually post all of my tech reviews after a while. I'm going to be doing things like Apple News, reviews on Apple products, reviews on other products as well, not just Apple, but I am an Apple fan, so I'm going to be doing a lot more of those. Some rants, some general thoughts and impressions and things like that when new technology comes out. Because I started the whole YouTube thing hoping to get into tech reviews and hoping to get into review formats of sorts, and I stumbled into the anime reactions, and that's what's gotten me to where I am. But if you guys want to see the tech reviews as well, head on down to the link in the description. They won't be quite as consistent as the anime reactions because it takes more time to make them. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'm going to work on making more content like this. So yeah, maybe head on down there. Yeah, you still here? Cool. I'm going to end now because it's getting awkward.